Hello everybody, welcome back to CMA classes. So yes, we were doing PGBP chapter and you know what, we are at the end of this chapter. Okay, so today we will complete this lecture and there would be one more lecture, but that would be of practical question. Okay, so by this section we will cover almost every part, every section of this chapter. So yes, let's get started and end this chapter together, guys. Okay, so today we are going with this section 44 first. This is of insurance business. So the profit and gain of any business which is related to insurance, including the business carried on by the mutual insurance company or by cooperative society, the income would be taxable at the rate of 12.5%. There is nothing more in this section, so I am not going in depth as that's it. There is nothing much in this section. Okay. So yes, let's go for section 44A. This section is for deduction of deficiency arising from mutual activity in case of trade, profession or similar association. Now we know the meaning of trade, we know the meaning of profession, take a professional, but what is this similar association here? Okay, so I have taken an example. Okay, so with this example it would be more clearer for us. Okay, so yes, here let me give you a bit information about this thing first. Okay, people of Kerala is either known as Keralite people or Malayalis. Okay, and the language they speak is Malayalam, that's why they are known as Malayalis. Okay, so hope so this part is clear na. Hanji, so here there are 100 Malayalis, and one more thing, wherever these Malayali people go, they'll form their association, and that would be known as Malayalam Association or Malayalis Association. Basically they would be known as Malayalam Association. Okay, so yes, these people 100 Malayalis, okay, have formed an association. As I told you, the association name would be of Malayalam Association. Okay, okay, and these 100 Malayalis have contributed an amount of 5 lakh rupees. Okay, now this would not be the income. Okay, this 5 lakh rupees would not be known as income. This would be called the subscription income. इतनी बात तो समझ में आ गई जी. हाँ जी, ठीक है. So what I told you, these Malayali have formed the association, and these Malayalis, let's take these people are in Delhi. Okay, so this Malayali people of Delhi, 100 Malayalis, have formed the association called Malayalam Association, and they have contributed 5 lakh rupees. Okay, and that would be known as subscription income. इतनी बात बहुत clear है. Okay, now these people have spent rupees 7 lakh. Okay, but for on what purpose they have spent? Okay, let me give you another example. For example, for the Onam celebration. Okay, as we know, Onam is the biggest festival of Kerala. Okay, so like Diwali we celebrate in North India, so people of South Indian, the Kerala people celebrate Onam. Okay, so for this they have contributed this amount 5 lakh, but they have spent it 7 lakh. And 7 lakh is spent on, like, they hired people from other states or other people, like other artists, to perform the art, culture, singing and all. Okay, let's take example of Kathakali. Okay, and with that there are so many other activities involved also. Okay, so for that they have spent 7 lakh. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. ठीक है, now you are going to ask me, the subscription amount was only 5 lakh. Okay, now this 7 lakh they have spent more amount of 2 lakh. ठीक है, is it going to be the loss? It would be known as loss or not? This is not going to be known as loss. This would be the deficiency amount. 2 lakh is going to be the deficiency amount. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. हाँ जी. So now second question to us is going to be like, can this deficiency amount can be set off? As this is not the loss, we know कि we can only set off loss amount. Question to us is, can we set off these deficiency amount? Yes, answer is definitely yes. But by what means we can set off? By the Malayalam Association income. Now question to us is like, how they are going to have the income? Like, these people have contributed the amount. the subscription amount. Now you are saying that these Malayalam association having the income. Okay, so let me give the example of what is going to be the income of Malayali association. They can give the consultancy service to any other person. They might have purchased the amount, the property, and they have let it for the rental purpose, and whatever the income is coming from that, the rental income would be the rental income definitely. Okay, so this is the another example. Third, for example, the income which the people have contributed, have these the Malayalam association have deposited to the bank, and whatever they are getting in form of interest would be definitely the income of Malayalam association. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. So these are going to be the income. Apart from these, there would be many. I have just given some of the example. ठीक है. So from this they have approx 3 lakh rupees income. ठीक है. So first contribution was of 5 lakh. ठीक है. Deficiency was of 2 lakh as they spent 7 lakh. So the excess is going to be the deficiency. इतनी बात मुझे समझ में आ गई. हाँ जी. So what about this Malayalam association income? Now the question to you is, can the Malayalam association, I mean the set off amount of deficiency, can these set off by this Malayalam association income by fully? I mean, as the deficiency was 2 lakh. So thus this efficiency amount, full deficiency amount is going to be set off from this Malayalam association income? Answer is no. ठीक है. 50% of Malayalam association income can only be set off. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. So what is going to be 50%? 50% of 3 lakh is going to be 1,50,000. ठीक है. So 2 lakh, from this 2 lakh deficiency amount, 1,50,000 is going to be set off. Okay. इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. हाँ जी. So what about the remaining 50,000? What about the remaining 50,000? अच्छा, इतनी बात अभी समझ लो. You'll get the answer again. ठीक है. So yes, we know now the deficiency amount can be set off by PGBP income first. If there is no PGBP income, then they can go for the other income. Like this was the other income. ठीक है. And the second was the maximum 50% of total income of this association can only be taken for setting off. ठीक है. But what about the other? What about the remaining? That would be the deficiency amount. ठीक है. इतनी बात समझ. That would be shown as the deficiency amount. ठीक है. So this is all about this section 44A. Let's read it very quickly. Profit and gain of business before allowing deficiency is to be reduced, which less have to reduce by any set of allowances or loss under any other provision of the Act carry forward from the early assessment year, which is to be again reduced. Deficiency to the extent of the lower of the amount of deficiency or 50% of the total income before allowing the deficiency. This was all about this section. ठीक है. So you have to understand the income, the surplus, what the subscription income है ना, and whatever the amount spent by association. Okay, and if that income, the spended amount exceeds the subscription amount, ठीक है, that would be the excess is going to be the deficiency. Now the question, just we have to remember this, the excess amount, the deficiency amount, ठीक है, is can they set off? Yes, that could be set off, but maximum limit is going to be 50% of the total income of that association. Otherwise, remaining is going to be deficiency. Simple. Okay, let's go for the section 44AA. Okay. So, compulsory maintenance of book of accounts under section 44AA, where the maintenance of book of accounts by notified person. Specified professional here, professional of legal, medical, engineering, architecture, accounting, technical consultancy, interior decoration, company secretary, film, artist or authorized representative. Okay, now books is to be maintained by first category I have made. If the gross receipt exceed in all the three preceding previous year, first part, ठीक है, फर्स्ट कैटेगरी का फर्स्ट पार्ट बोल रहे हैं, ठीक है, where the gross receipt exceed rupees 1,50,000 in all the three preceding previous year, ठीक है, or likely to exceed the current previous year, okay, or likely to exceed the current previous year in case of new business, ठीक है, नॉट इन केस ऑफ ओल्ड बिजनेस के लिए ये वाला पार्ट है 1,50,000 फॉर द 3 preceding previous year. Okay, for the new is likely to precede the limit. Okay, have to maintain the prescribed book. What book now? The cash book, journal या फिर लेजर की बात कर रहे हैं. इतनी बात समझ में आ गए. Now the second thing they are saying, carbon copies of bill which is going to be exceed rupees 25 rupees daily के in case of register and stock register which is specifically related to medical purpose. ठीक है, they are saying about these medical professional have to maintain them. ठीक है, so इतनी बात मुझे समझ में आ गई. Where the gross receipt exceed 1,50,000 in all the preceding PPY, ठीक है, in all 3 PPY, okay, or likely to exceed in case of new business, they have to maintain the cash, journal and the ledger. इतनी बात समझ में आई. हाँ जी. And that carbon वाला also rupees 25. हाँ जी. But what about the other cases? They simply have to maintain such book which would enable the AO to compute total income. Okay, there was nothing much more, we know this. Okay, so second case, maintenance of book of accounts by other business and professional. ठीक है, earlier this was of professional. ठीक है, and I know what are the professional, specified professional which is going to be included here. Okay, but let's go for the other, for the individual and HEF. Okay, वो audit वाला case देखते हैं. ठीक है, for the individual and HEF they have to require to maintain. ठीक है, if the turnover exceed 25 lakh, if the turnover exceed 25 lakh and from PGBP the amount exceed rupees 2.5 lakh, then only the individual and HEF have to maintain the record. ठीक है, maintain the book of accounts. Let me say it again. When the turnover exceed 25 lakh, with that the PGBP income exceed 2.5 lakh. But do you think it is going for all of the 3 PPY? नहीं. For this they are saying in any one of the preceding previous year. इतनी बात समझ में आई. हाँ जी. So what about the others? They need not to maintain for the other cases, for non audit वाली person. ठीक है, let's take for the other person. ठीक है, where have to require to maintain the book of accounts where the total turnover exceed 10 lakh. Earlier for the individual HGF it was 25, for the other it's going to be 10 lakh. Don't get confused here. ठीक है, 25 lakh then 10 lakh. ठीक है, and PGBP income was in earlier 2.5 lakh. In this case it's going to be 1.2 lakh in any one of 3 preceding previous year. ठीक है, for the other need not to maintain. ठीक है, इतनी बात समझ लो. Okay, period of which book of accounts are required to kept and maintain minimum 6 years from the end of assessment year. If you think that once this part is done, the individual HEF have exceeds the limit of turnover sorry, or the PGBP income, whether they require to maintain the book of accounts for like regular basis, they have to keep that book of accounts for how many years? They have to keep that book of accounts for minimum 6 years from the end of assessment year. इतनी बात समझ में. That's it. There is nothing new in this section. ठीक है. So hope so you can read this, or I should read it. चलो ठीक है, let me read it very quickly. ठीक है, let's go for the person carrying on specified business. Specified professionals is the profession of legal, medical, engineering, architecture, accounting, technical, consultancy, interior decoration, company secretary, film artist, or authorized representative. And the person carrying on the specified profession and his gross receipt exceed rupees 1,50,000 in all the 3 immediately preceding previous year, or in case of new professional likely to exceed rupees 1,50,000 in any year of setup are required to maintain this specified book of accounts. Okay, person carrying on a specified profession are not covered above are required to maintain such books of accounts and other documents as may be enable the assessing officer to compute his total taxable income. Specified book of accounts, cash book, journal, carbon ledger, carbon copies of bill exceeding rupees 25 original bill issued to him, payment vouchers. For the other SSC, in the following cases, the SSC is required to keep and maintain such book of accounts and other documents as may be enable the assessing officer to compute his total income in accordance with the Act. In his income from the business and profession exceed 1,20,000, remember Hanji, turnover was of kitna? Exceeding 10 lakh. Okay. In any 3 preceding previous year, ठीक है, limit 25,000 of income and 25 lakh फॉर द टर्नओवर इन केस ऑफ इंडिविजुअल एचयूएफ फाइनेंशियल ईयर, ये ठीक है. सो व्हाट अबाउट इन केस ऑफ न्यूली सेटअप बिजनेस और प्रोफेशन इज लाइकली टू एक्सीड 1,20,000 टर्नओवर, सेम थिंग दे हैव मेंशन. ठीक है. सो देयर इज नथिंग न्यू गाइस, you can simply read it. ठीक है. So let's go for the next section, which is of section 44AB. Now they are saying about the tax audit of book of accounts. We have to understand which people have to do the tax audit in this case. ठीक है. Earlier book of accounts maintain करना था AA वाले में. ठीक है. For the AB they have to maintain the go for the tax audit. ठीक है, of that book of accounts. Okay. So in case of business, if the turnover exceed rupees 1 crore in previous year, however the limit will be 10 crore if the aggregate amount for the sale during the previous year in cash, bearer check, cross check do not exceed rupees 5%, rupees नहीं 5% of the total amount received, and with this aggregate payment made of expenses during the previous year in cash, bearer check, cross check do not exceed 5% of the total payment mode. Let me read it again. ठीक है, let me make it very easy. ठीक है. In case of business, when the turnover exceed rupees 1 crore, ठीक है, फॉर द बिजनेस एंड प्रोफेशन, फॉर द दे आर टॉकिंग अबाउट द बिजनेस. ठीक है, प्रोफेशन के लिए नहीं, बिजनेस के लिए. व्हेन द टर्नओवर एक्सीड्स 1 crore दे हैव टू do the tax audit of what the book of accounts. इतनी बात तो मुझे पता है, but they are saying this 1 crore limit can be up to 10 crore. ठीक है, if the aggregate amount received from for the sale during the previous year in cash, bearer check and cross check do not exceed 5% of total amount received, and with that the expenditure made do not exceed 5% of what the cash, bearer check, cross check do not exceed 5% of the total payment mode. Simple let me say कि 95% should be in digital, है ना, whether the expenditure or whatever the sale amount they received. ठीक है, it should be in digital form. पेटीएम करो, डिजिटलाइजेशन करो, कुछ भी करो, गूगल पे करो, कुछ भी करो भैया. ठीक है, it should be 95% of what the sale amount, the sale received amount. Okay, and the expenditure done should be again in digital form. ठीक है, then only the limit would be of 10 crore. ठीक है, then if that limit is 10 crore, फिर क्या होगा, 10 करोड़ से ऊपर वाले को क्या करने का है, टैक्स ऑडिट करने का है. ठीक है, अदरवाइज turnover is going to be 1 crore. If this exceeds the 5%, ठीक है, which means the expenses done by them is more than 5%. ठीक है, in cash. ठीक है, और bearer check और क्या, cross check. इतनी बात समझ में है. हाँ जी. So what about this again, sale वाला amount, again if it is done more than 5% of cash, you are receiving the amount more than 5% of cash. ठीक है, of what, the total amount received. ठीक है, so again you have to, the limit would be of what. ठीक है, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. ओके, लेट्स गो फॉर द केस ऑफ प्रोफेशन वे द ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट इज रुपीज 50 लाख. ठीक है, वे द ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट इज 50 लाख. फॉर द बिजनेस इट वाज व्हाट, द 1 crore, अदरवाइज 10 crore. लिमिट यू हैव टू फुलफिल दीज टू कंडीशन. ठीक है, बट फॉर द प्रोफेशन इज गोइंग टू बी 50 लाख. ठीक है, इफ द एसएससी कवर्ड बाय सेक्शन 44 AD, ADA and SEC claims income less than 8% of the turnover, 6% of the gross receipt or 50% of the total income, which is more than the basic exemption limit here. ठीक है, 8% of the turnover, 6% of the gross receipt and 50% of the total income, which is more than the basic exemption limit here. If the SSC covered by 44BB, 44BBB, 44AE are SSC claims less than the profit deemed under these section. ठीक है, so let me read it, the important part of this section guys. ठीक है, so which part is same, let me see it, this part is same. ठीक है, which we have to maintain 6 year वाला. okay, and with that this part I have also covered. ठीक है, and this which do not exceed 5% वाला, yes, ये वाला part भी okay है, we will know, ठीक है, nothing new in this section too, ठीक है. So you can easily get the point, ठीक है. In 44AA, book of accounts is to be maintained. In 44AB, tax audit of that book of account is to be done. ठीक है. Limit, you have to keep this limit in mind. ठीक है. Simply the question could maybe come in form of MCQ. ठीक है. These are not that important, but you have to keep everything in mind. That's it. Okay. Let's go for 44AD. Now from this onward, we are going for presumptive basis. ठीक है. So one by one, let's do it. ठीक है. Let's go for the presumptive taxation is going to be like section which is going to be covered here, 44AD, 44ADA, 44AE, and the remaining which is related to non-resident I have covered in the international taxation part of non-resident chapter. ठीक है. So you can easily go to that part. ठीक है. I have not covered here, I have already covered in the international taxation part of non-resident वाला. ठीक है. So you can easily get there. Okay. So let's go for 44AD guys. Eligible SSC is going to be resident, individual, HAF, firm, but not going to be LLB here. ठीक है. We are not going to take LLB. Okay. And you have engaged in any business other than notified professional, section 44AE business, commission business or agency business. Okay. So we are not going to take these people. ठीक है. So they are simply saying the resident, individual, HAF, firm, no LLP, and engage in any business other than these people. ठीक है. For this there is another new section, that's why we have not taken 44AE wala business. ठीक है. So here the eligible business profession, any business whose turnover gross receipt is rupees 2 crore in the previous year. ठीक है. If the aggregate receipt in cash, bearer check, cross check is up to 5% of total turnover in the previous year, the limit would be 3 crore. Here let me say it again. In the last section what we read 5%. ठीक है. 5% of what? Cash वाला. Same thing is there. ठीक है. But they are saying the aggregate receipt here. ठीक है. Aggregate receipt in cash, bearer check, cross check is up to 5%. Then the limit would be 3 crore. Otherwise it's going to be 2 crore. ठीक है. So any business whose turnover gross receipt is up to rupees 2 crore in previous year can come to this place, can take the presumptive PGBP income. ठीक है. मतलब what is taxable rate. ठीक है. So let's go for what is going to be taxable rate here. Presumptive PGBP income if the turnover received by the account pay check, DD, electronic clearance system, electronic mode is up to due date of, they have filed the due date before return of income. ठीक है. Where then 6% of such total income, total turnover or the gross receipt is taken here. ठीक है. Where the payment, the turnover received by account pay check, let me say it, account pay check proper. ठीक है. Proper they are saying. ठीक है. When the turnover is received by account pay check, DD, ECS, electronic mode. ठीक है. And whether which is up to due date of return of income, then what is going to be the presumptive income? 6% of such total income, total turnover or the gross receipt. Presumptive PGBP income is going to be 6%. But what about the other case? For the cash, for the bearer check, for the cross check, 8%. So let me say it, for the digital part that is going to be 6%. For the other part, cash, 8% of same turnover, the gross receipt. But the main part, this section is simply saying if you go for this section presumptive basis taxation वाला, ठीक है, then you cannot claim the basic deduction जो तुमने which you can claim for from 30 to 38 section and section 40 subsection B. You cannot claim any of the deduction from this section. सीधी बात. ठीक है. So this is all about this section guys. हाँ. So let me go back and see what we have to read again. ठीक है. Which I have covered. I'm not going to read. You have to read it. ठीक है. Okay. So eligible SSC. ठीक है. Rate is going to be 8% and 6% for what? The digital वाला, 8% for the cash वाला. Okay. And there is one thing which I have to read, the maintenance of book of accounts and the payment of advance tax under this section. ठीक है. So let me read it guys. With a major, just a second. हाँ. हाँ, the major provision related to presumptive taxation is to give relief to the small or the medium-sized taxpayer from maintaining book of accounts. The individual or a firm who adopt presumptive taxation under section 44 AD is not liable to maintain book of accounts here. They are also not required to get account audited under this scheme. ठीक है, so simple, they need not to maintain any book of accounts if they are going with this section 44 AD, and with that need not to get accounts audited. Okay, so what is going to be the payment of advance tax here? The assessor is liable to pay his or her advance tax in a single one installment on or before the 15th of March of every financial year if they opt for the presumptive taxation under section 44 AD. ROI filing date is going to be 31st July here. Okay, and for any default in paying the advance tax, the assessee will charge interest under section 234C. Okay, so this part which I have not mentioned in my handwritten notes, which I have read. Okay, so that's it. There is nothing more in this section, guys. Let's go for the other section. Section is 44 ADA. Okay, so this is another presumptive basis section, and this section is going to be applied on the individual, resident individual, firm. Here again we are not going to include the LLP, and the engage in notified person. Okay, so the eligible business profession should be the notified profession whose gross receipt is up to 50 lakh. ठीक है, let me go back, let me make the clarification, guys, again. ठीक है, in this part the business whose turnover and the gross receipt was up to 2 crore and or the 3 crore. ठीक है, and there were some people which is ये वाला part firm, ठीक है, and notified, other than notified people. ठीक है, but in this case if there is difference, the difference is about of the gross receipt. Earlier we have taken the turnover and the gross receipt. ठीक है, here the gross receipt, we are only taking the gross receipt. With that, ठीक है, here we have taken the resident individual, HF नक्को है, ठीक, firm है, engage in notified person is also there. ठीक है, so the gross receipt is up to rupees 50 lakh, then only you can go for section 44 ADA. Okay, again if the if the aggregate receipt in lakh bearer in cash, bearer check, cross check is up to 5% of the gross receipt in the previous year, then the limit would be 75 lakh. ओके, अर्लियर वाले केस में कौन सा था 44 AD में, ठीक है, इट वॉज व्हाट 2 करोड़. ठीक है, the limit do not exceed of what the cash वाला, bearer check वाला, ठीक है, and one more cross check वाला, ठीक है, then it would be 3 crore. In this case they have also given us the limit. ठीक है, normally the gross receipt is up to 50 lakh. ठीक है, but if the aggregate receipt in cash, bearer check and the cross check is up to 5% of the gross receipt in the previous year, then the limit will be 75 lakh, 50 या 75. ओके, इतनी बात समझ में आ गई. नाउ व्हाट इज गोइंग टू द प्रिजम्पटिव पीजीबीपी इनकम हेयर. अर्लियर क्या था 44 AD में 8%, 6%. ओके, याद है ना, हाँ जी. सो इन दिस केस गोइंग टू बी 50% ऑफ द ग्रॉस रिसिप्ट. नाउ अगेन क्वेश्चन टू यू इज वेदर वी कैन अवेल 30 to 38 सेक्शन डिडक्शन. नक्को मिलेगा, इतना छूट मिल गया, बार बार थोड़ी तुमको छूट मिलेगा. ओके, सो नो डिडक्शन एनी ऑफ द एक्सपेंडिचर अंडर सेक्शन 30 to 38 and section 40 subsection B. Okay, so let's go back and see what I have not covered. Okay, so okay, this part is covered, this part is covered, and यहाँ पे 75 होगा, है ना, ये वाला part नहीं है. Okay, okay, so nothing new in this case, guys. हाँ, this part I have to read. Same thing, payment of the advance tax under section 44 ADA. An assessee is liable to pay his or her advance tax in a one single installment on or before the 15th March of every financial year if they opt for the presumptive taxation under section 44 ADA. ठीक है, and same return of income date लास्ट वाला. ठीक है, सो इतनी बात समझ में आ गई ना. लेट्स गो फॉर दी लास्ट सेक्शन ऑफ दिस लेक्चर, दैट इज गोइंग टू बी 44 AE. Okay, so this section where we have already excluded in section 44 AD, ठीक है, which simply says these people should not be included. ठीक है, so definitely 44 AE have the people have different section. ठीक है. So 44A specifically is for any SSC who is engaged in business of applying, hiring, leasing of goods carriage. Goods simply let me say goods transportation business का काम करते हैं ये. Goods transportation business का काम करते हैं ये. Okay. So what is going to be business eligible business profession? If an SSC own not more than 10 goods carriage at any time during the previous year. So simple बात, if they are having more than 10 goods carriage, then they cannot take the advantage of this section 44A वाला. ठीक है. So they should be 10 or less than 10. ठीक है, goods carriage. Okay, so what is going to be the presumptive PGBP income? Okay, so here in this case it is divided into two parts. The vehicle is divided into two parts. The heavy goods vehicle or the, let's take the lightweight वाला. ठीक है, very heavy goods, for the heavy goods vehicle gross weight exceed the 12 ton, that is 12,000 kg. ठीक है, if it exceeds the 12 ton, for them it's going to be 100 rupees 1000 into weight in ton into ownership month or part of month. So what is this part? Are we going to take that part of month like full or only like take the partial proportional wise? If it exceed 1 day, then also we are going to take it as a full month. ठीक है, so here let me read it again. The amount is going to the presumptive PGBP income for the heavy goods vehicle. ठीक है, rupees 1000 into weight in ton into ownership per month or part of month. Okay, so what about the other vehicles? What is going to the presumptive PGBP income? It's going to be rupees 7,500 into ownership per month or part of month. Okay, so in this case, the lightweight vehicle के case में we are not going to take the weight in tons here. That is not in this case. ठीक है, that's it guys. Again, simple thing. No deduction under section 30 to 38 is going can be availed by these people, and the advance tax payment. In earlier two cases, what I said in earlier two section, I told you that the advance tax payment is to be made in one single installment, but in this case, the installment 4, and we know. ठीक है, okay. So what is going to be return rate? The ROI filing date is going to be 31st July. It is to be done before that. ठीक है. So this is all about this section. So let me read this part guys. ठीक है. So under 44A, the presumptive income for the heavy vehicle is rupees 1000 per ton per month or part thereof, the gross weight vehicle or the unladen weight. For the lightweight vehicles, the presumptive income is assumed rupees Indian 7500 per vehicle per month or part thereof. Special provision for the compute and deduction in the case of business reorganization of the cooperative bank. Special provision for the compute and deduction in case of business, same thing है. ठीक है, so but section different यहाँ पे. Okay, so the deduction under section 32, section 30D, 35D, 35DD, 35DDA shall in case where the business reorganization of the cooperative bank has taken place during the financial year to be allowed in accordance with the provision of this section. The amount of deduction allowable to the predecessor cooperative bank under section 32, 35D, 35DD and 35DDA shall be determined in accordance with the formula, and the formula is here A, B, C, which is A into B divided by C. A is here the amount of deduction allowable in the predecessor cooperative bank if the business organization has not taken place. B is number of days comprising the period beginning with the first day of the financial year and on the day immediately preceding the date of the business or reorganization, and C is going to the total number of days in the financial year in which the business organization has taken place. ठीक है, and the amount of deduction allowable to successor cooperative bank under section 32, 35D, 35DD or 35DDA shall be determined in accordance with the formula. Okay, so the provision of section 35D, DD, DDA shall in case where the undertaking on the predecessor cooperative bank entitled to deduction under the said section is transferred before the expiry of the period specified therein to the successor or the cooperative bank or account of the business organization applied to the successor cooperative bank in the financial year subsequent to the year of the business reorganization as they would have been applied to the predecessor cooperative bank. Okay, बहुत बड़ी रामायण कथा हो गई ना, ठीक है. simple they have given the formula is A into B into C, ठीक है, where they are simply talking about the reorganization we have taken place, ठीक है. So the amount allowable to the predecessor is to which has not taken place, ठीक है, which is to be multiplied by the number of days or with the total number of days in the financial year in which business reorganization had taken place is to be divided by, ठीक है. So that's it. This is all about this section, guys, ठीक है. Main you have to keep these thing in mind, okay. So there's nothing much new, don't get confusion here, ठीक है. I have just given the more additional information here, ठीक है. So this is going to be the end of this lecture and this chapter. So yes, we have completed PGBP chapter, but there would be one more lecture, ठीक है, and that is going to be of practical questions, ठीक है. So I will take at least 2 or 3 है ना questions from previous past question papers, ठीक है, and we'll come up with that, and I'll make the ICDS lecture chapter revision for the I'll make it simply in the another lecture, ठीक है. Not I have not included in this part PGBP part, ठीक है. So yes, hope so you're doing your revision and have completed. I'm believing that you have completed your revision at least once, twice, thrice, ठीक है, and solving your previous year question paper, doing writing practice, है ना, and don't get distracted by mobile phone, social media, falana, ठीक है. So yes, that's it. Keep the spirit, है ना, keep the motivation and be disciplined, है ना. That's it. We will come up with new chapter. Hope so this lecture was useful. If it was, what you have to do, share, subscribe, हाँ जी, ठीक है. So till then we'll meet in our next video. This is Soumya Santosh. Toodles, guys.